What's going on, YouTube? Cameron at you here with another video today, and today I would like to talk about how much and what it takes to own a 350Z. So starting off, how much did I pay for the car? Well, I paid a little over 10 grand for the car. I got it 2 years ago, and I paid 10 grand for it. Now, when I bought the car, it had a little over 88,000 miles on it. And I bought it back in February, about 2 years ago. Just a little bit. So when I bought the car 2 years ago for a little over 10 grand, I put a little over 3,000 down. When the car had 88,000 miles on it. I did buy the touring model with this, so I did have the heated seats with the premium 18-inch wheels, but no Brembo package, unfortunately, and no navigation. So how much does it take? How much is my payments? How much is my car insurance? And how much do I spend on gas, and so on and so forth? Well, car insurance, I pay about $190 a month for car insurance, and about $260 for my car payment. So it's not very much. I don't think that's asking too much. Most people's car payments are a little over like 4 or 5. I pay $260. That's not terribly bad for what it is. How much do I pay for maintenance? Maintenance wise, the biggest thing is oil changes. You do an oil change every 3,000 miles, and depending on how much you commute daily, this is my daily driver, so I do use this every day. It's the only vehicle I currently have. I easily put 100 miles roughly a day, 5-6 days a week. And I usually change the oil about every 2 or 3 months, depending on how much I've been driving and how much I need to change the oil. Expensive. It's not what it used to be, but it cost me around $50 to $60 to fill up the gas tank, and that will last me about a week to a week and a half, depending on how I'm driving and how much I've been driving. I think the longest I've went is 2 weeks on $60 worth of gas, and that's about 400 miles on a gas tank, depending on how it is. That's not too bad for what it is. I've seen a lot worse in sports cars. I mean, obviously, with the V8s, you're only getting like 12, 15, you know, the V10 Vipers, for example, you're only getting like 12. So, that's not bad. Cruising down the highway in 6th gear, because I have the 6-speed manual transmission. Cruising in 6th gear at 65 miles an hour on the highway, I can get about 30-35 miles to the gallon. Not bad. Not bad at all, especially since all the stuff that I have done to the vehicle, which I will tell you in a future video what everything I have done. But so it cost me about $60 to fill up, lasts me about a week or two depending on how it is and how far I'm driving. Now with that being said, what other things are maintenance wise? Well, the biggest thing. Now when it comes to tires, if you don't know, the 350s have a staggered setup. From factory, they have two 25/45/18s in the front and two 45/45/18s in the rear. The fronts are a lot cheaper than the rear because the rear is kind of an oddball size for 18s. Because of the sidewall and the tire size, it's kind of hard to find tires for them. Now you can get tires for them pretty easily, but they're not as cheap as they would be 17s or 19s. 18s for these size is kind of an oddball size. So get what you can find and what you can take. As of right now, I do have my winter tires on because it is getting colder and I am ready for the season. Because like I said, this is my daily driver and this is what I use to drive every day. Rain, snow, sleet, whatever it may be. So the winter tires, if you do want to drive this in the winter time, I highly suggest getting winter tires for it. It makes a big difference. Now the winter tires I have on in the back right now are two 45/45/18s, and I have the Nissan Winter Sport tubes. Each tire of them costs a little over $100. I think I paid $120 for each tire, and it cost me $50 to get each tire mounted and balanced. So it cost me a little over almost $400 just for the rear tires to get the tires and put them on. In the front, I have two 35/45/18s. I went a little wider in the front just to give it a better look and give me a little more traction in the front. Since the weight is pretty well distributed, I wanted to go a little bit more traction up in the front, so I decided to go a little bit wider. In the front, I have the Goodyear winter tires. I think I paid a little over $150 for each one as well, because the winter tires, you want a decent quality winter tire, and obviously with this being a sports car, you kind of want something a little bit more sporty as well for the winter tires. So be graceful if you want to drive this in the winter time, and if you live in a place where you get a lot of snow. Up where I live, we get a decent amount of snow, so I always take the extra precaution and get some decent tires and throw on the car. I also do have a set of 17-inch rims with summer tires on that I do put on in the summertime when I want to mess around a little bit and I don't want to ruin my good tires. I have a set of kind of throwaway tires that I can do burnouts in and stuff like that and not have much of a big deal. Throw tires in. So, with that being said, winter tires are a big must in the winter time if you plan on daily driving this in the winter as well. If not, I suggest taking that $500-600 you're going to spend in tires, if not more, on a beater car instead. I think it'd be better in the long run. But this car is actually not too bad in the snow. It's kind of fun actually. So what else is there maintenance wise? Brakes are kind of expensive as well. They're not too bad. Depending if you have the brake. People are retards. I love when people just cut in front of you like that. It's funny, especially in wet rain. But besides that retard. So that being said, brakes are kind of on the cheap side, but not too bad, depending if you have the Brandman package or not. I do not. So it's not too bad. I've seen a lot worse, depending on what type of brakes you get. If you get the higher end model, or you kind of get the lower end, I kind of suggest going more towards the higher end because a lot of your stopping power is in the front, and you definitely want this to stop on a dime. It makes a big difference. So for the price you can get to the car and how much it costs to maintain and keep the car, it's not a bad car for the price. So if you want a car on a budget, don't have a lot to spend, but you want something that has a lot of power and is easy and cheap to maintain and is pretty fun to drive, I highly suggest getting a 350Z. The G35s are not a bad option either. I think you can get them a little bit cheaper. But if you want something a little bit more sporty, I highly suggest getting the 350. It is the best bang for the buck, and you will not regret your decision. But make sure you do your research before you buy one, either from a car dealership or on Craigslist. Make sure you do your research and you know what's been done to the car, you know if it had any problems, and how the maintenance and everything else has been with the car. I would definitely stay away from one of these if it's over 150,000 miles. I would try to find one on the lower range. Because after 150,000 miles is when you have to start doing a lot of maintenance more with the engine and the timing chain and everything else. So I highly suggest trying to find a lower mileage car. You can still find them laying around. I looked the other day, I think I've seen a couple that was like 6, 7, 8 grand. I had like 60 a day, 100,000 miles on it. It's not too bad. Like I said, I paid 10 grand for mine with 88,000 miles on it, and I currently have 106,000 miles on it in the past 2 years. With that being said, my name's Cameron. Please like, subscribe, and comment, and I'll see you on the next video.